Hey everyone, I'm Progyan, and later you'll hear from my friend Aditya. We're going to talk about something called the McEliece cryptosystem today. What is it? Basically, it's a way to send secret messages developed way back in 1978 by Robert McEliece. It's what we call asymmetric, which just means that the key you use to lock up the message is different from the key you use to unlock it. Think of it like a mailbox. Anyone can drop a letter in, but only the person with the key can open it and read the letters. Now, why we are talking about something from the 70s? Well, it's become super relevant today because of quantum computers. These powerful future computers might be able to break a lot of the encryption we use today, like RSA, which protects online banking and shopping. McEliece, however, is built differently. It uses something called code based cryptography, and scientists believe it might actually stand up to those future quantum attacks. That makes it a really interesting candidate for post quantum cryptography, security for the future. How does this work? The core idea is actually based on error correction codes. Imagine you're trying to send a message, but the connection is really noisy and sometimes flips bits, changes zeros to ones, or vice versa. Error correction codes are clever ways to add extra information to your message so the receiver can figure out what the original message was, even if some errors happened. McEliece uses this idea but flips around for security. Let's get into how the keys are made, the public mailbox slot and the secret mailbox key. It starts with picking the secret keys, the private key. First, you choose a special type of error correcting code that's actually easy to decode if you know its secret structure. A common choice is called a GOPA code. Let's represent the secret code with a matrix called G. Second, you create a random scrambling matrix, let's call it S. Think of this as mixing things up. Third, you create a permutation matrix P, which basically just shuffles the order of things around. So, the secret private key consists of these three pieces S, G, and P. You have to keep these totally secret. Now, to make the public key, the one you can share with anyone, you mathematically combine these three secret parts. You calculate S times G times P. The result is a new matrix. Let's call it G prime. The G prime is the public key. Here's the clever bit. Even though G prime was created using S, G, and P, it looks like a totally random generic code matrix. It doesn't give away the secret structure of G or what S and P are. Trying to figure out S, G, and P just from the public G prime is designed to be incredibly difficult. So Bob, who wants to receive messages, keeps S, G, and P secret and publishes G prime for the world to use. Now I'll hand over to Aditya to explain how Alice uses Bob's public key to send him a secret message and how Bob uses his private key to read it.
Okay, so Progyan explained how Bob creates his public key G dash and keeps his private key secret. Now let's see how Alice sends him a message. Let's say Alice has a message M. She wants to send securely to Bob. First, she turns his message into a string of zeros and ones like a computer would. Next, she takes Bob's public key G dash, the Bob shared. She multiplies her message vector M by his public key G dash. Let's call the result Y. Now comes a really unique step in McEliece. Alice deliberately adds some errors. She creates another sort of string of zeros and one called E, which has only a few ones in specific places. Think of it as adding a little bit of control noise. She adds this error vector E to the Y she calculated earlier. The first ciphertext, the secret message she sends to Bob, is C, which equals Y plus E. Thus, C looks like random data to anyone intercepting it. Alright, so Bob receives the ciphertext C. How does he get the original message M back? This is where his private key comes in. First, Bob uses the inverse of his secret P and multiplies the received ciphertext C by it. Mathematically, this changes the ciphertext to MSG plus E P to the P inverse. The message part is now scrambled differently, and the error part E also been permuted. Now Bob uses the secret GUPA code G. Remember, this code was chosen because it has special fast decoding algorithm if you know G. Bob uses this algorithm on the data he just calculated. This algorithm cleverly strips away the modified error part and recovers the MSG. Pretty neat, right? He's almost there. Now, the last step is to use the inverse of the secret scrambling matrix. He multiplies this, which cancel out the S and leaves him with just M, which is Alice's original message. Anyone listening in would only have C and the public key G dash. Without knowing the secret S, G, and P, they can't perform these specific unscrambling and decoding steps. They are stuck trying to decode a seemingly random code with errors, which is super hard. So, what's are the takeaway here? Let's look at the pros and cons. The big pro is the potential quantum resistance we mentioned. It's built on math that we think even quantum computers will struggle. Another plus is speed. Encrypting and decrypting are quite fast, mostly just matrix math. But here's the big catch, the main con. The public key G dash is huge. We are talking hundreds of kilobytes, maybe even megabytes for good security. Compare that to tiny keys used in systems like RSA or elliptical curves. The large key used in these systems make McEliece tricky to use in places where limited memory bandwidth is available, like on smart cards or some small internet connected devices. So, to wrap things up, McClelly is an older system but very relevant in Cryptosystem in today's world. Its main claim to fame is being a strong contender for post quantum security, though it comes with significant downside of very large keys. It was seriously considered by NIST, by the US Standard Agency for Post Quantum Cryptography, and its idea lives on in the related system. It really highlights the trade-off we face when designing secure systems for the future. Thanks for listening.